Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make this crop circle. So you have to have your pencil, your compass, and a straight edge. It doesn't have to be a ruler, but I just find that those work the best. So sorry if the videotape's a little bit wobbly. I kind of have an odd little setup here. So what you're first going to do is you're going to find a spot in the center of your page and you're going to make a pretty small circle. So my method to make a circle, I usually just flip the page around until I have the full thing. But you can use whatever method you really want. So after you have your circle, you're going to take a line and you're going to put it through the center, and you're going to want to have it stretch all the way across your page because you're going to be using it in parts of the crop circle that come later. And then to make the next part, you're going to have to make a bisector through the middle of your circle. And in this particular case, you want your bisector to be really perfect, so you don't want like extra parts of it. So you see here how it kind of just comes directly to the circle and there's like no extra crosses. That's how we're going to want it. So we're going to take it and you're going to measure it just by kind of coming up here, and so let's see how this one works, and if it's not perfect we can always try again. But you have to make it pretty close. So like that. So kind of like the shape of a football. And then you're going to make the line through that bisector. You want to line it up pretty exact. And again, you want to have it cross the entire paper because you're going to be using it in farther parts of the crop circle. So take it all the way through. So now it looks like that. And then for the next part, you're going to turn it back around like this, and you're going to make another bisector. So here you can see the measuring more specifically. You kind of measure it through that little angle you can see there, and you basically just do the same thing. Okay, so the next step of the circle is you have to make angle bisectors. So you're going to place your sticky thing in the middle right there, and you're going to make the angle bisector using that same construction. So let's do that. And it doesn't really matter how sloppy your bisector is because you're just going to be erasing it later or shading it in. And you're going to want to have the line cross as much as the page as it can, because you're going to have to use it in parts of the crop circle later. Oops. Okay, so now you've got that, and just fix that. Okay, so now it looks like that. And so we're going to also make another bisector, so we will eventually have 4 lines. So another bisector here. And again, cross the entire paper, or as much as it is of it as you can for later parts of the crop circle. Okay, so now it looks like this, and you have your 2 angle bisectors, but nothing really coming in. So again, we're going to just like bisect the line, because once you have all the bisectors, it'll kind of make this kind of pattern of a lotus flower. And you kind of just continue those throughout the crop circle. So we're basically just going to do the same thing we did in the other spots and kind of ignore the actual parts that we did to make the bisector. So again, measure it up straight with like how the angles line up. And make your bisector. Like so. And do that to the other one. So line up with your angle, so pointy thing on that line, and then other part. And put your pencil like where it meets the circle, and bisect it, like so. And to kind of avoid confusion later, we're just going to erase the parts that were the parts of the angle bisector, but just know that that's what we use to create those few lines. Oops. And if you accidentally erase your lines, there's usually some little faint spots, and we'll go over it again in some kind of marker or just redo it with the pencil a little bit darker. So you just don't, all you have to do is be able to just kind of see the main parts of the petal. So now you have your inner part of the crop circle, which looks just like this. And again, sorry if I'm kind of making this dizzying. I have a kind of an odd setup here. But so the next part of the crop circle is kind of takes a little bit of measuring to make the next outer circle. So you take this and you measure like the angle like we did with the bisectors. And as long as it's at that length, you take it and you just take your compass off and you put your point in the center of that circle and you make another circle around it. Okay, so it looks like that. And so the next part, we are wait one second. You just have to. Okay, that might have been wrong. Okay, so now you see how we have these lines, and we now have the angles are a little bit bigger. We're going to measure it out like that. So you want it to be exact, so it's like this. And then we're basically going to bisect those angles again, but you don't want to bring it all the way through the circle. You just want it to come, wait, I'm just consulting my other one here. Yeah, so you just want it to come to the edge of the next petal in, like that. And then same thing on the top, so see how we skip that actual part of the circle until it reaches the petals again? We're going to do that throughout all of them. And then we're going to do that again here. So again, just touch the edge of that petal and touch the edge of the petal. You don't want to touch the actual inside. And it doesn't really matter what order you do them in, as long as you make sure to get all of the bisectors throughout the lines. And if you are hearing a banging in the background, that is my dog Fenway trying to make me throw a ball. So just patiently wait for me to just finish this real quick. Okay, so as you go, you'll start to see how these kind of little diamond-y shapes start forming, and so in the future, of this crop circle, you'll kind of see how those make a really cool pattern eventually. Oh. And see how I just found out that I missed a spot. Okay, and last one. So yeah, each time you have to make sure that you really are getting all the way to the edge of that inner petal, or it'll kind of look a little bit empty in that space. Just see there's a little mistake right here. Okay, so now you have the second layer of your crop circle. So you're basically going to continue that same pattern throughout the whole crop circle, repeat it. And you're just going to keep doing that all the way until you get it to the size you want. So I'm going to do it a couple more times here, and then I'm going to check back with this, and I'll show you how to do some shading. Alrighty.